You want details? Fine. I drive a Ferrari 355 Cabriolet. What's up? I have a ridiculous house in the South Fork. I have every toy you can possibly imagine. And best of all, kids, I am liquid. So, now you know what's possible. Let me tell you what's required.
Life Advice. The email address is lifeadvicerr@gmail.com. We've got Kyle, and we have Ceruti. We missed you on Friday, Ceruti. I don't know if you got any feedback, any relatives.
No. A lot of the
Did you
boys that
listen?
I was on a golf. I did. Well, so I actually didn't listen to Life Advice. I listened to the Fred Warner interview, and Fred was great. So that's awesome. Off to a great start. But
look at you, P1. He works on the show.
Yeah. No, well, sometimes it's good to not be involved in the show and listen to the show once and be like, all right, how's it sound? What's it look like? What do we need? And, I don't know. Fred was really
Kyle,
good. So
when you're off, do you go back and listen to every episode?
No, but sometimes I will go back after. It's usually the Life Advice. There's something you guys are still talking about. And I'm like, oh, this is weird. I don't know what the hell's going on. So maybe I'll do that. But it was nice that Ryen made a real point to say how we missed you when we had a little bit of got our wires crossed on Life Advice a little bit. So it was nice of him to let me know on air that he wasn't really happy with how it went. So I'm glad you're back.
I will go back and listen.
I wasn't happy with myself.
Okay.
I gave myself a C+ for the show. So,
okay. I did have some news on the trip that a lot of people wanted to talk about the guy trying to move in with his buddies. That's just the talk of the town, man. Everyone I know who listens to the show just has an opinion on that topic.
I'm going to be devastated if that guy never follows up.
It's almost like a fairy tale, though. It's like,
right.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. People won't stop emailing about it. They're still emailing, and I just...
Nobody has anything actually figured out. Like, no one has an answer that's like, oh, yeah, that's what you would do. There's no answer. It's just like, what about this? No, that wouldn't work.
Well, I'm sure there's some aggressive plans, like theories of well, what if you did this, and it's like my friend mom isn't doing well and we grew up together, but it's like you can't be doing that to somebody that you want to spend your life with.
The guys did love Kyle's, just fake it terminal illness. We got 6 months, buddy.
Yeah, guys on a trip would think that's funny, but that's also terrible too. It's also bad.
Month 7, like what's going on? Be like, he's getting better.
Yeah,
people think it's just
clinical trials. Can't really talk about it right now because it's all under. You
went to Turkey. It was I think it's okay now.
Yeah. All right. So we had a lot of emails to that. We had a lot of emails on the dog thing, and for the most part, they're pretty straightforward. We did hear from. There was a common theme, whether people in the vet business or people that have gone through this with having to decide when not or when to put down a dog. But I think one of the common things that was shared is that if you really think your dog is suffering that much, then it becomes kind of selfish that you don't want to do this, even though I understand how incredibly hard it is, especially when you get kids and like them dealing with death the first time ever, which is not a conversation I think anyone would ever envy having with a child that you care so much about, but that there's a line of like, are you selfishly keeping this animal alive at the level of pain that the animal is going through? Or in this case, I think specific to this emailer, it wasn't necessarily a day-to-day pain. It was just that it was clear the dog no longer enjoyed living. And then we started doing some on-the-fly lab research, 13 years, 11 years, it's... So I don't know if that helps you rationalize a very tough decision for the guy that was emailing last Friday about that, in particular, like if you think of it from the dog's perspective.
I think he almost wanted a little bit of guidance from the vet to being like, you're right. I'm actually seeing some stuff here that would lead me to believe that he is actually in pain. But all he got was like, yeah, numbers look good. He was like, are you serious? So maybe he was just looking for like a little bit of a nudge in one direction or another, but he didn't seem to get it.
I don't know what email address. For some reason, it was on Friday feedback. I was like, none of these are good.
We've got a lot of email addresses. We've really just been collecting them.
Okay.
We got to do our first Friday feedback, by the way.
No, we haven't. Well, there's a ton there, but I
we'll do one for Christmas.
I was reading those while I was talking, and I'm like, why are none of these
making sense.
Like what is happening? All right. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, all right. Let's do this one out of the box. Wife suddenly thinks I'm cheating. 6 foot 240. Dudes are enormous that listen to this show. We've been on a size and athlete run here lately. 31 max bench was 285. Not anymore. Mostly cardio and dumbbell incline at this point. Happily married, 3 kids. My wife has always been a little jealous, but I thought it had subsided after our wedding and kids. Usually that's when they know you're pretty committed to it, until recently. Seemingly out of nowhere, she started freaking out on me and thinking I'm cheating. We have some old neighbors that moved a few years ago and decided to move back to our street. When I told her I was excited because I like the family, she started accusing me of only being happy because I want to bang the wife. The wife and I have barely ever spoken. I was excited because I like the dude and their kids are the same age as ours. She basically berated me for an hour and said I can't speak to them anymore and made me delete the wife from Facebook, which is super weird because they just moved back. So how's that going to look? The other day, our kids were at my parents' and she wanted to get her nails done. Our security system sent a notification to her that someone was at our door. And instead of checking the camera, she dropped in on our Alexa and started grilling me about who was there. You can do that with Alexa? Who's there right now?
I have no idea. You can it's like an intercom to the house. Eesh. Get it out.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I don't need Bezos listening.
That is, by the way, just a quick aside. Anyone who does anything in front of a house, now you just have to assume it's a camera there. These people that see somebody like, hey, you leave some shit on the front door, light on fire, the old school thing. It's like you're going to get
doing
caught.
that still?
You've
seen a lot of those videos.
I'm just trying
out
to
there?
think of an example, but it's like
it's hard to know when
if you're
those
a postal worker,
those videos
you
are
want to
from.
mess with. Yeah, that's fair. But if you're like a postal worker and you want to, I don't know, you're doing something weird. Like I've seen some kick dog videos. I'm like, you got to always assume you're on camera.
Kick
dude.
dog.
Like, you
Kick
can't
dog
be doing
Twitter.
this.
Wow.
My algorithm is all messed up.
Yeah,
it is.
is.
What's going on? That's
Wow.
probably because I was in Florida. There you go.
Steve, can you help with the kids' lunch? No, I'm watching shit videos upstairs. Yeah, well said. So she jumps into the Alexa, started grilling me about who was there. At the time, I was on the phone with my business partner, had to hang up to explain to her that I took the trash out, and that's why she got a notification. This is clearly becoming an issue. You think? It's hurting our relationship with other couples, my own business partner, and she's even randomly dropping in at my work to check on me. I also constantly wake up to her searching through my phone. I've never given any indication I would cheat and constantly tell her she's the only person I have eyes for. At this point, I'm honestly starting to think she's the one that's cheating. I can't fathom getting a security notification on my home or on my phone and assuming my wife asked our neighbor to come over the moment I left to go to the gym or something. I feel like the only person that thinks that or thinks like that is someone with a guilty conscience. Any advice, much appreciated. Love the pod. Merry Christmas.
Well, I'm glad he said that. Man. I didn't want to have to say that stuff. So it's good.
You were going to say that? Have we not gotten to that?
I mean, people who are stealing from you will lose their lighter or lose something and think like somebody stole it. Immediately default to who stole my shit. And it's like a few minutes later, they're like, oh, okay. But, that's because that's what would I do? Like, so I'm glad we don't have to go there. I'm wondering if maybe there's something going around the neighborhood. There's a new scandal. Maybe this whole Sharon Moore thing's got her all bent out of shape. I don't know. Like, there's got to be something.
Should have asked. You're a huge Michigan fan.
There might be something. I don't think it would be as childish as like what's she watching on TV, but like maybe something is making its rounds through the neighborhood. I don't know.
That's what I thought of. What shows is she watching?
I don't think she's like that impressionable as an adult woman, but maybe. I don't know. But there's got to be something else that's dropped into her world other than unless you just got like way hotter. Did you drop 25 pounds and it's just like, just don't let that dude out the house. I don't know.
Yeah, that my only thought would be like, yeah, was this woman so hot that your wife was like relieved that she left the neighborhood and now she's getting all this PTSD coming back of just being anxious about just her being so hot. I don't know. We need to see pictures. I don't know how hot the guy, how hot the dude is either.
If it's bleeding into work, it sounds like it's not about the new neighbor, right?
Not the neighbor's husband. You're not asking how hot
No,
that
the guy sent the email. Right. Like, is he a good looking dude? And like, I don't know. Sometimes things get weird.
What's up with new Steve?
Well, no, sometimes things do get weird though. Like when, it's sort of unfair in a lot of ways, but like a guy will kind of age well, right? And that can kind of suck for a wife in some ways. It's like, oh wait, you're getting hotter, and you're like the silver fox thing is a good look on you, and all of a sudden, like I don't necessarily look
Roger
that way.
Sterling
like that could be
here.
That could be a pretty big bummer for her. So maybe that's what it is.
Let's rule out that she's cheating on. Okay.
Yeah. Let's not take this that direction.
Because I think you said something where, like, how we can all be incredibly influenced, like in a very, I don't know what it is. I don't know how different it is. Like, I don't know if it's a human nature thing. I've just been thinking about this a lot lately. Like, will I read something and then go, whoa, well, that's what's happening. Like, I think true education is when it's a subject, a field that you can read something and then you can go, oh my God, this is wrong for all, not based on opinion, but like this person that wrote this thing is wrong because of this, wrong because of that, wrong because of that. Not like opinions. Just like if I read an NBA article, I'd like to think after this many years of paying this much attention to this league, I can understand the motivation behind the story that's getting out. I may have information on my own just because of a relationship where I'm like, that's 100% not what happened. It's really hard. Like, how many different fields could you possibly have where you could feel that comfortable being like, this is what's being presented, but this is why it's all wrong, which also I'm admitting in all these other categories, like, it's just not what I do. So I might be incredibly easy to influence on some of that stuff, unless you just decide you want to be stubborn because you feel like you were wrong in the past. So the whole reason I'm bringing up any of that stuff is just like, what could be in her life that is influencing her down this road in a way that is abnormal? Like, is there anything new? Is there a new friend in the mix? Does she have a friend or a sister or a relative that just went through a divorce? Is there something that has changed in her life that may not have been anything planned, but that she's becoming influenced in a very, I don't want to call her like naive, but it can, like, really smart people. And like, I'd like to think that there's certain things that I would resist, or any of us would resist, but like how easily, when you keep seeing the same messaging over and over again, you can be swayed to ultimately like believe that stuff. And then you can get into like another level of like recreating scenarios in your head that then become things that you actually believed happened, because you're just like losing your mind. Like, I remember there was a breakup and I convinced myself that a friend of mine was then dating the girl based on like different things that I remembered. And then I cranked it up to a level that was complete fiction. And then when I ran into him, I was like a little chesty about the whole thing.
Oh, no.
And he was kind of like, what the fuck are you doing? And I, at that point, felt completely justified.
Like, what's going on.
Yeah, I created a reality in my head based on morsels of evidence that went nowhere because, again, I was hurting and I was going through something. So, like, I don't know if there's something that's happened in her life. I know I just threw a lot at you there, but I think I can kind of put it all back into the bowl here. If there's something that's happened in her life that has led her down this path. But you did say that there was some jealousy stuff in the past. Right. So you'd like to think you get over that. And like, dealing with somebody who's jealous and then you explain to them a very like, hey, okay, this is your question and this is your theory. Here are concrete answers on why it's not those things. And then when they don't want to believe you, dude, get ready to spend a ton of energy on shit that doesn't matter. And you're going to get so frustrated because there's really, like, if the other person's convinced, like they don't want the rational explanation. They don't want the truth. And that's what you end up dealing with, man. And I think this is like an awful, awful sign, not to make too much out of this, but this is like, she's showing up to work, dude. She's going through your phone every fucking day.
She's hacking into Alexa.
Yeah, she's getting innovative, dude. That's
well. So what do you do? I mean, do you
this isn't going to be very life advice
about it?
I don't know.
Like, do you just say?
Well,
just
here's what I would do.
And...
Like, I think you need to match her like disruption with another disruption. And I know there's going to be married guys and be like, of course Russillo said this. Like, you're an idiot.
What's the most abrasive
Mortal Kombat in the home, right?
Yeah.
But I'm just telling you, like, this, you've opened the portal of like, this is going to happen for a long time, and you trying to explain the truth is not going to work. I mean, if it in fact is I don't think you would like send in this email and be like, actually, I lied to those guys too, right? So like, we're giving you the benefit of the doubt. But you explain, like, I know exactly what you're dealing with. You're going to explain, and you're going to have a locked up alibi for every single one of these accusations. And unfortunately, the accusations aren't going to end. So you're going to be coming home. You're going to be dealing with shit all the time. Her showing up to work is like a massive, massive violation because then your work people are like, what are we doing?
Wow.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Like you may have to go the next time it happens. And maybe if it's minor, you counter her disruption with an even greater disruption where you go, I'm going to a hotel for 2 nights. And you have to sit here and think about what your life is like without me when I've been this good to you. And again, we're taking your side based on taking your word here, but like you may have to match her crazy right now with a diabolical zag of like, I'm going to a hotel room for 48 hours. And if I come back and it's the same shit, then we're going to have like a much bigger conversation. You may have to give her a taste. Because I know everybody's going to dump on me for this one and say, absolutely not. You've got kids. Like, that's not fair. And all these different, I already know.
You're
I already
just
know
going
all
to
your
hook
moves.
up with our neighbor.
Right.
Like, all right, see if that's really what you want it to be. Because
But-
I'm going to be gone for 2 days either way. Yeah.
I'm just saying you're going to have to like sort of mentally rattle this in an awareness move because giving her all these reasons why she's wrong is probably not going to work with this person unless you get to the root of like why all of a sudden this has happened. Maybe she cheated. Maybe she cheated on you with the husband. Maybe that's why she's freaked out.
Yeah, but you're right. I agree with the Jurassic thing because this is the sort of like the basis that divorces are made of anyway. Just this type of mistrust and just every single day not knowing how bad this thing is going to get when you're just, should I have stopped and put gas in the car? I took an extra 10 minutes. Am I going to have to explain this? Like if that every day starts wearing you down, that's the stuff divorces are made of anyway. So I agree with Ryan that there's got to be some sort of, you got to ratchet it up just to get the attention off, get her attention in some way. Because this does sound, it sounds like no way to live. So I hope it hasn't been going on for too long.
Anything else?
No.
I think we got
this is
it.
another bummer. Are these all going to be bummers? Yes. Friday was full of bummers.
All right.
Skip it.
How about a quick one here? Was I a professional athlete? You're right.
Or you come to the right place.
50-50 chance. 25, 6'2", 185. No impressive gym stats currently, but bench 225 for 1 rep 1 time in college. 4 plates, bro. Good stuff. Player comp, Sean Livingston, elite mid-range jumper, all-around player, but not going to get buckets on an island. Pre-knee injury, Sean Livingston he could have done anything. Solve world hunger. I need some help clarifying if I was a professional athlete or not. I played D1 soccer at a mid-major college. Upon graduation, I moved overseas to Melbourne, Australia, where I spent the last 2 years playing in the 3rd division. Can you look that up? Ceruti 3rd division?
Yeah, he's a professional athlete. Did you get paid?
Technically, the league I played in considered as semi-pro. However, I did sign a real professional contract, and soccer was my main source of income. I did work as a bartender and part-time at a cafe to supplement my income. Imagine, though, you're bartending and be like, hey, what are you doing here? Just, visa? No, I'm a pro soccer player. Another Bud Light? Another Foster's? Sorry, I should have said Bud Light. Now that I'm back in the U.S. and my career is over, I keep having to explain the situation. So I guess my question is, did I play pro soccer? Was I a professional athlete? Thanks. P.S. Had a dream a few days ago that I met Kyle, only he was an evil entity, sort of like a skinwalker. I hated it. I think we had to put that one in there.
Okay.
All right.
Damn.
He'd be the last guy to be a fucking evil entity.
Thank you. I think this is all solved by just saying, I played overseas for a couple of years. Some overseas ball. Isn't everyone kind of knows do you really have to, if they want to dig, they can dig and you can explain. But when you say I played overseas, isn't that that's what you were doing there, right? That's why you spent all that time. You weren't
Signed
doing
a contract.
Yeah.
I think he's a pro athlete. I don't think there's any debate.
He's signed. What does this mean?
I did Google this. The 3rd tier of Australian soccer is generally the National Premier Leagues, and it is a semi-professional competition below the A and the 2nd tier, obviously.
Premier sounds good, though. Good branding.
Yeah, you played in the Premier League, technically. You don't have to specify which one.
Yeah, don't do that. That's what guys on Instagram are doing. Former Premier League. I think all you do is you downplay it. Be like, hey, what'd you do?
As seen on ESPN and Fox Sports. Love those guys.
Hello to our sisters and brothers down under. Checking out the pod. I think he played. I think what you do is you don't oversell it, you undersell it. And if they want to be impressed, let them be impressed. But what you don't want to do is sell it and like, I was this close to, playing in Bundesliga.
I would say it's not like you're one of those guys playing like, adult full pad football,
like the
for
guy
the love
over in
of the game.
Ireland. Nice.
Yeah, that to me is insane. And I wouldn't tell anyone that. You got paid. I think this is one of those things where you don't really outwardly like brag about it, but if somebody asks you about it, you tell them, yeah, I played professionally, and then blah 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 blah. I think you're fine there. And you technically got paid to play. Because I knew some guys in college who they played in the second division in Finland, right? And they got certain things like they got put up for free, like in their housing and stuff like that. They got food and whatever. So it was like kind of like an extension of college in some ways. Yeah. But like, I don't know. If that guy told me he paid, if he said, hey, I played professional soccer, I'd be like, yeah, you played in Finland. It's a big deal.
Yeah. If you say I played overseas.
Southern Finland. Yeah.
Yeah. There will be people who either want to know more or think they already understand what you're talking about, and you can just move on.
There will be the guy that Googles you though, and kind of looks into, hey, let me check the stats, and there aren't really stats. Maybe the website's not really up to date, and it's like, this isn't
got that 1998 feel to it.
Yeah. So I don't know.
A page 2 Jim Capel piece where you're like, what's going on here? What kind of font are they using? I think you're fine. I think it's fine as long as you don't oversell it so that no one can then come back to you and then be disappointed. But at the same time, retired baseball player, seen that a lot. Technically, a lot of us are retired baseball players. Yeah, because everybody signed us up for Little League. You're of a certain generation. I wonder what that's
retired
like.
Early.
Like the first wave. Like your kid's 7 going, I'm not into it. Like you can't make it to 9.
Yeah. Sometimes there's other stuff going on.
Yeah. Sometimes kids know early on. Like I don't
new skins drop Fortnite.
There you go. I can't. I got stuck in a wormhole of that guy. Who, me? Have you seen the videos of this troll who just goes on? And I think if I explain to you this video game troll, because my brother sent me this stuff, and it's like, I watched a couple and I thought, oh, so this guy just goes into different games and loses and shoots other people and crashes cars. And it's like anybody can fucking do that.
It's a lot of those guys. So I don't even know which one you're talking about.
However, this guy, the best to ever do it. Best to ever do it. He's unbelievable. And he just keeps saying like, who, me, the whole time. He'll just like wreck cars. Be like, going high. Then everybody loses it. He's like, I said I was going high. He's like, you guys got to call your shots, man.
All right. Well,
somehow it works.
Maybe send it to me. I don't know. I never know if you get the stuff I send you. I try to pick my spots really carefully. Never even a reaction. Ceruti will give me a little thumbs up, but I just don't know. I figured because we're following each other, we'll get through the Russillo DM firewall. But maybe you send me, and that we'll get it going.
You DM me on Instagram?
Yeah, just like funny things that like there maybe has been 5 in 5 years, and I've just never got one.
I don't know. Never got one response.
Yeah. All right. Well, that makes me feel better. I think.
We need a group. We need a group. Like a group thread going, because we do text each other sometimes.
That's how I get
things,
past
and that's not the
okay.
No, I'm saying
but there's so much that Ceruti and I talk about that Kyle wants nothing to do with.
That's what I'm saying.
Correct.
Thought we could just have our own relationships, but I guess
that's fine.
We need to put some guardrails up. That's fine. Whatever we have.
Sometimes when you throw something into a group chat, though, it's like more well received.
Fuck off.
Yeah, there is something to be a group chat where you're like everybody's saying something. I'll be like, okay, I better. I thumbs up something that happened the other day where I wasn't super close with everybody in the thread, but they just wouldn't stop talking about how great something was that had happened. And I was like, I got to get involved here a little bit and throw a fucking ha on one of these.
Get your FGAs up a little bit.
Sometimes I feel like that's worse than not responding, though. Like that's
probably.
Oh, he gave me the thumbs up. You should just ghosted me. I would have felt better about myself.
Who, me? All right, final one here. Can I gift my parents pillows for the guest room for Christmas? What's up, guys? Congrats on the new pod with Barstool. Checking in at 5'10", 155. No gym stats or pickup comp to share, but I play a decent amount of golf and fluctuate between a 10 and a 12 handicap. That's great to hear. Emailing with a question about a potential Christmas gift idea. When my wife and I visit my parents' house, they have the absolute worst pillows in their guest bedrooms. They're bedrooms, plural, because we've tried different bedrooms in their house, hoping it was just one fluky room, but unfortunately the same hard pancake thin excuse for pillows are present in each guest room. Sleeping there is brutal because, well, it's painfully hard to sleep. I know the obvious answer would be to bring our own. While we consider this, we have a 1.5-year-old, and as Ceruti can confirm, traveling with a little one means you're hauling a ton of extra stuff. That is pretty wild. Like if you were to look at the gear ratio for actual volume of human,
Right.
Dude, I just said this. We went summer trip vacation. We went to near Gansett, great spot, and we had she was probably 3 months old at the time, and then like a 2.5-year-old. And I said to my wife, I was like, I think this is the most shit we're ever gonna have to pack into a car. Like I think it only gets better from here. Because you're right.
That's a nice way to look at it.
The smaller they are, because she was like, should we get one of those, tube things on the top? And I'm like, I think this is max capacity. And we got it all in. So I don't think we need to go there yet. I mean, who knows? Like sports and stuff and all the travel. I don't know. Maybe you'll need stuff for that. But like, we were packed to the brim, but it's the little one. She needs,
there's a baby bag, there's a food bag. Right.
Yeah. And then you throw in the beach element of it. It's like, it's a lot of stuff.
Forget it.
We had like a full tent for her to sit in. And it's just like,
just rent the chairs at that point. Right.
So it was like the cowherd argument we got into. And I think it was off the air and then played out on the air. Where he's like, I don't check bags. We're like, what do you mean you never check a bag? And then some people listening right now are like, I never check a bag, never check a bag.
Yeah, people are hard-nosed about that.
Yeah. And it's like, I get it. I get the convenience of the never checking a bag thing. I've also seen some people inconvenienced too that thought they weren't checking a bag and then ultimately ended up checking a bag. And then Cowherd's like going through this whole thing and he's like winning the room. He's winning the segment. Everybody's agreeing with him. And I was like, so what do you do? He's like, I just buy new clothes. You're like, now
okay,
everybody's out.
Here we go. Now
everyone's out.
He throws the underwear out after one use.
Right. So it's like, so you pack light so you never have to check a bag, but then you have to go shopping every time you go anywhere for 4 days. And then I was like, then what do you do with the stuff? He's like, ship it back. I'm like, you ship it back or someone, a PA ships it back who's working for some sort of road show. It's like, Cowherd gest off the plane. First stop, except for all mankind. And you're just like, all right, getting some 32s. He's guy's in shape.
This most recent trip, I'm a bad packer because I just think of like, what's the worst case scenario where I'm going to need this thing? And
I shit my pants every day for 4 days straight. I need that many underwear.
Yeah,
just in case. No, that's the worst case scenario.
That's aggressive.
Well,
yeah, no, go ahead. I'm not.
I also have sleep underwear too, so I get I like to sleep in cotton joints, but then I go out in the the Skims type stuff. Out and about. So.
All right. Back to our email here. This sucks for our guy. I know the obvious answer to bring our own. We already covered this. I really don't want to haul pillows as well. Plus, it feels kind of rude to show up to someone else's house with your own pillow. These are your parents, though, right? Like, doesn't the rudeness thing... Anyway, it brings me to this question. Can we gift them better pillows for their guest beds for Christmas? Is that weird? Or would that be more or less rude than just bringing our own? Thanks for reading and the advice. Hope the gang had a great holiday. Yeah, thanks.
Did you think that they wouldn't just take the pillows for their bed and then give you their old pillows? Would that also bother you?
It might be better still. It might be a net win.
It probably will be better if they just went Amazon Basics, just like one each, and it's just damn. But I just don't know why their first thing isn't going to be like, oh, we'll put these in the guest room. If you got like some nice, really like if we're talking high end pillows, why wouldn't they just take them for themselves, and then you're back to square one?
Well, you're inside the walls here. This isn't the in-laws. This isn't some other thing. It's not like you're inside the walls. And I think, look, I know every family is different, but I would say most families, like you should be at a stage now. You have your own family. It's great. You're coming back to visit. You're bringing them. They're going to be so fired up. They're going to be so excited that your kid's 1.5 and that you're taking the time and inconveniencing yourself to travel and to go and visit them. I don't know that they're going to care about the pillows. There's a certain stage in life where you are going to wake up in a sleeping situation when you're traveling and you're going to go, I'm fucking done with this. All right. For me, it was waking up on a folded up futon inside of, I don't know if it was clean or dirty laundry, but it wasn't folded. I was visiting a buddy. I was in my 20s. We'd had a late night. There was nowhere else to sleep. I wasn't going to go stay at this other place. And he's like, you can just crash at my place. And I was like, this is what you've got. And then I woke up and was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm like, I'm fucking done. It's over. And that
building
was
a Hilton Honors account now. That's
right.
Getting points.
Right. And that was me, even in my 20s. It was pretty like willing to deal with whatever I had to deal with and not feel like I'm above this. Okay. And so you have a wife, you have a kid, you know what it is. When you have an awful sleeping situation, we were going to visit somewhere else, and I already know the pillows they're talking about. They're not even real pillows. They're like stunt pillows.
Yeah.
Like they're so thin. You can't even believe that pillowcases work with them.
You can stack 5 of them and it would make a difference. Yeah.
Right. So I would ship them the pillows, right? Or maybe you buy them near their place on location, and then
Macy's
you wrap
has
them
good
up.
stuff.
Yeah, you wrap them up, and then you go, hey, I'd like you to open these now. And you make a big joke out of the whole thing. Like, oh, we got to wait until Christmas Eve. We got to wait. No, let's do it. Let's do it Sunday.
Yeah. Or do you just even play it off as an even nicer thing and like, hey, we bought some stuff, some for our place
we
too,
love
and
this
we're going
brand
to get
so much.
you as well.
Yeah,
like
there you
a
go.
really
We're
nice
on
bill.
Wayfair.
They're having a
Lux,
sale.
dude. Yeah.
And then you're just like, oh, cool. Like not only are you here, but you're also thoughtful and bringing gifts. Like that's how you do it.
I like that. Or if you're just like, who's going to be
gonna
the
see
one
right
that would be
through it,
offended? Well, who's going to be? That's what I'm saying. Could you pull your dad off the side and be like, hey, man, I got neck stuff. These are good pillows for me. Is there any, like, can we just have these without being, is mom going to be upset? Like, who's the one that you're worried about hurting their feelings? And could you just go to the one who wouldn't really care as much and just be like, hey, man, I love that we can come here. I just wanted to, we think we could put these in there now. Would she really be mad? Is there anything you could do to make it not so offensive if you even think she'll bat an eyelash at it? Like, who's the one that you could go to?
Or would it be funny if you just replaced the pillows and didn't tell them?
Right. I don't know.
How
Olds
often
know
do they go in those
stuff
rooms?
like that. You know,
Sometimes
Old
those
people
rooms,
know
though,
stuff.
when they're older, they don't
I
get
don't
touched.
know,
They
dude.
just sit there.
They look like fucking Churchill's estate sometimes.
They're
You
like
visit
time
some old
capsules.
people and you go into the old bedroom, you're
You
like
start changing stuff.
carbon dating. No, you can change. They're so old. They're so fucking old, man. I don't know what old people do to spare bedrooms, but
Neglect.
it's that shawl. We can all see it in our head right now.
Yeah.
Like it's
It's
what's
like it's got
the
like a
last
tone
person
to it.
It's been the 80s since anybody's actually pulled that shawl up over
Yeah.
a body.
They achieved the perfect amount of trinkets in there, and they just haven't moved for 20 years. They're like, this doesn't get better than how we've got these little figurines laid out. This is how it's
Corner
going to be
hutches?
forever. Yes.
That must have blown their minds on hey, I can
This one's got a light
maximize
in
a
it.
45-degree angle on a corner hutch. Like corner hutches, whoever made those first, every old person was like, well, I know what I'm doing this year.
Yeah, we are set.
Getting one of those. I think I even put a few in. Just up the
you
staircase.
installed?
Yeah, well, you don't really have to install. I mean, you could have a wall built one if you wanted one, but I just the excitement, whatever it is about maximizing a 45-degree angle. Old people have never been more passionate about anything in their entire life than what that looks like. So, look, if he's emailing us this, that means his parents are probably sensitive, right? He's asking this because of the history of his parents, and he has parents that are just going to. I think Ceruti has a great point of attack here. Hey, we tried these; they are amazing. You have to try them too. That means you have to buy conveniently
Multiple
them the
bedroom
new
worth.
pillows
Yeah.
and then your own pillows. Honestly, for a week of sleep, if you're doing okay, it's probably worth it. You could also sneak attack the thing where you, again, based on, I don't know if they probably have a picture, a Polaroid somewhere, so make sure when they come in after the fact, nothing has moved around. But, maybe you just locally buy whatever you need, ship them, switch them out for the whole week. Look, if they come to you and say, hey, I can't believe you did this. This is rude.
You always have the back and neck thing. You'd be like, man, my doctor said I got to figure something out. You could always be like, it's a me thing. It's not you. I just need these ergonomics.
They should be so excited about a 1.5-year-old running around their house that I just don't know that they're going to care about the pillows all that much. All right. Long pod today. Let's be done. Thanks, Kyle. Thanks, Steve. Ryen Russillo Show, 10 good minutes tomorrow, recapping some of the NBA Cup stuff, looking ahead as well. We'll tape that exclusively on YouTube tomorrow. We have another huge announcement for the show this week. Not sure when we're going to do it. So please subscribe to everything we got. Ryen Russillo Show, part of the Barstool Network.